Hello. It's very dark and gloomy out there today, so dark and gloomy in here as well. My name is Cher, and I'm a musician that has two small businesses to support me. One is that I buy and sell used books, and the other is that I have a handmade business. Now, here's this book. Orchids on Your Budget. I was going to talk about this book today because I think that money is important when you're talking about self-employment. And this is a book, crazy enough, it's a Depression era book that I've used as a budget guide for many years. But when I was researching, I discovered that someone wrote a biography of the author. So I, of course, ordered the biography secondhand. And when it gets here and I read it, then we will do a thing on this book. But today, we're just going to do a quiz out of the book. Are you thrifty or are you stingy? Now, you have to picture yourself as a person from 1937, which is the depths of the Depression. The book is written mostly for women, but I would imagine it applies. Maybe not in the clothing items, but applies to anyone. I'm going to read the questions so you can think about them, and then I'm going to read the answers along with how I feel I would rate on this. And I've had a head start since I already read them last night. Number 1. Do you take friends who you don't care about? Do you take care... One more time. Do you take friends whom you don't care about impressing to a cheap restaurant and smart friends to an expensive one? Think hard. Number 2. At a party, do you talk loudly about ordering a taxi and then wait to see if any of your friends with cars will offer to jitney you home? Jitney is not a word I ever use, but... Number 3. When getting on a train with a friend who has a paper, do you buy a second one? Number 4. Do you walk instead of taking a taxi when the sidewalks are wet and you have no rubbers, or when a friend is waiting and you are late for your appointment? Number 5. Do you keep putting on your old dresses and saving the new one for a more important occasion? Number 6. Do you forget to tip the porter on a daytime trip when he hasn't had occasion to give you any service? Number 7. When you are in a taxi with a lot of women, are you a past master at the art of fumbling? Number 8. Do you hang on to old dresses that you don't wear but think you might have made over sometime instead of sending them to Salvation Army or some other charity? 9. Do you check your restaurant bill before paying it? 10. Do you wear a nightgown or slip just once more, even though it's a shade soiled, before putting it into the clothes hamper? 11. Do you buy Christmas presents that will do for relatives to whom giving is a duty instead of trying to think of something that they would really like? 12. Do you buy second-rate liquor, thinking you can doctor up the taste with other ingredients in the cocktails? 13. Do you painstakingly untie the string on packages? 14. Do you salve your conscience after the extravagance of buying a hat you didn't need by lunching in a drugstore on tea and a 15-cent sandwich? 15. Do you forget to pay for telephone calls in other people's houses? Remember, you're picturing yourself in 1937. Okay, question 1, which was, do you take friends whom you don't care about impressing to a cheap restaurant and smart friends to an expensive one? The answer to this should be yes, because the unstylish ones are often more at home in a not too smart restaurant and might think you were showing off if you took them to a smart one, especially if you can't afford to. It's better to choose one where the guests won't feel dowdy, but where the food is good. Now, my answer to this, since I live in a smallish town, we don't have that many restaurants, and the couple expensive ones, I'm vegetarian, so I'm looking at the menu from a whole different way than other people do, and the 2 expensive restaurants in town, they're just not that good. So I would never take anybody to them. I have a couple, everything I like is mid-range. So everyone I know ends up at a mid-range restaurant. So I didn't know if I've answered that correctly or not. Question 2, which is, at a party, do you talk loudly about ordering a taxi and then wait to see if any of your friends with cars will offer to jitney you home? 2. The answer to that is no. The fact that a friend has a car doesn't mean that it's convenient for her to drive all over town. This is an all too common form of sponging. People who can't get themselves to and from parties ought to stay home unless they are certain someone really wants to take them. And I've got to say that I've done this. Whoops. Yeah, I've done it. I'm guilty. 3. When getting on a train with a friend who has a paper, do you buy a second one? The answer to that is yes. What you save by not buying a newspaper doesn't begin to pay for the irritation most people feel at having to share one. And why should they? Okay, this is so not relevant anymore, or at least not to me. There's no trains around here, no newspapers to buy. Well, no choice of newspapers to buy, but imagining myself in 1937 and I'm getting on a train with a friend and they are holding a newspaper. I imagine that what I would do would be to say, hey, I see that you have the whatever. Do you want me to buy a opposing newspaper and we can swap out while we're, yeah, I think that's what I do. Sounds to me like it's a good solution, but who knows. Number 4. Do you walk instead of taking a taxi when the sidewalks are wet and you have no rubbers? What is a rubber? Or when a friend is waiting and you are late for an appointment? Number 4 is no. Getting your shoes wet, if it's a definite extravagance, they seldom look quite the same again, and keeping other people waiting is selfish. Yeah, I mean, this is totally not relevant. Anyways, everybody wears cheap shoes anymore. We all have cars. Nobody walks in the rain. Okay. Next one. Do you forget to tip the porter on a daytime trip when he hasn't had occasion to give you any service? That answer would be no. If you do this at all, you are pretty sure to do it too often, and one fine day, skipped one, but it's still a no. A porter's pay presupposes tips, and he's entitled to them. Okay. I can't even picture a daytime trip that would have a porter. But I have a feeling that if I were on a daytime trip that had a porter and he didn't give me any service, I wouldn't give him a tip. The one I skipped is, do you keep putting on your old dresses and saving the new one for a more important occasion? And that would be, no. If you do this at all, you're pretty sure to do it too often, and one fine day you will find that the new dress isn't so new or smart, and that you've had scarcely any wear out of it. Okay. I am a black t-shirt and blue jeans kind of person. I do try to keep a decent dress in my closet just in case. And I've got to tell you, the decent dresses in my closet are very rarely worn. So, yeah. I think I flunked on that one. Okay, what's the next one? 7. When you're in a taxi with a lot of women, are you a past master at the art of fumbling? The answer to this is no, and this shouldn't need explaining. I haven't been in that situation, but I did have a situation where there was a group of us. I had a friend who was sick, and a group of us travel to be supportive and be there. And so he was in the hospital, and we were staying places and going out to restaurants, about 6 of us. And there was one person who everybody would throw down money at the end, when the bill came, and, you just guess how much it was, throw some money down. And the one guy would wait until everybody threw money down, and usually there would be so much that he didn't have to put anything down. And he did this often enough that everybody knew it. One brave person in this group one night picked up the check and went around with very good math and said, you owe this much, you owe this much, you owe this much, you owe this much, and cornered the dude who never paid. I don't know if that's applicable to this question, but it reminded me of it. Next question is, do you hang on to old dresses that you don't wear but think you might have made over sometime instead of sending them to Salvation Army or some other charity? It's number 8. No, you shouldn't do that. You probably won't have them made over. And anyway, someone who needs them more might be getting a lot of wear and pleasure out of them. Okay, who anymore has a dress or any sort of clothing that's good enough to make over into something else? Not applicable at all. Next question. Do you wear a nightgown or a slip just once more, even though it's a shade soiled, before putting it into the clothes hamper? No. Fastidiousness is a quality you can't afford to be without. And honestly, my night clothing, I just all of a sudden realized, whoa, this should go in the wash. And I throw it in the wash. I don't know about judging it in any other way. Okay. 11. Do you buy Christmas presents that will do for relatives to whom giving is a duty instead of trying to think of something they would really like? The answer to that is no. If you don't see why for yourself, you are stingy. Okay, but I'm the kind of person that tries to buy everybody something I think is perfect for them. And sometimes I am so wrong. You can see it on their faces. Like, why did she give me this? When something generic would have done much better. So I don't know about that question. Number 12. Do you buy second-rate liquor thinking you can doctor up the taste with other ingredients in the cocktails? No. If you did, while you might deserve the headache the next morning, your guests wouldn't, and we hope they wouldn't come again. Well, I think I'm like a lot of people, starting out drinking cut-rate liquor and then working my way up to something that tastes better and never going back, even if I can't drink so much of it. Just saying. 13. Do you painstakingly untie the string on packages? That's 13. Yes. This is a harmless economy, and it often comes in handy. We no longer get string on packages. I'm sure if we did have string on packages, I would be saving it because I saved the packaging, I saved the stuffing, I saved the... Yeah. I am a chronic reuser. 14. Do you salve your conscience after the extravagance of buying a hat you didn't need by lunching in a drugstore on tea and a 15-cent sandwich? No. What you save by not eating more lunch doesn't make up for the hat, and you need more nourishment after a shopping bout and are likely to make your family do the paying by being cross that evening. And I've got to say, not that I've ever bought an expensive hat or any other kind of hat. Well, maybe a snow hat. I don't know. Anyways, I've never... If I were going to go out and blow money on something, I would go whole hog and blow money on a fancy dinner as well. It's just me. Last question. 15. Do you forget to pay for telephone calls in other people's houses? No. Answering this incorrectly should count as 2 mistakes. Okay, we don't have that. I remember when I was a kid that, you know, if you made not a regular call but a long distance call at someone else's house, yeah, you better pay for it. And if that were still a thing, I would definitely be paying because I'd be too embarrassed for them to think I was so broke I couldn't afford my own calls. Okay, that's our quiz for the day. Hope you did better than me. I didn't even keep track of how I did. There's my dog barking at something out in the alley. And here's my guitar. Should I yell at him? Should I pretend I never yell at him? This is a very, very old song that we've done since the beginning of the band, and it's just called Lament. Dark skies coming, I better go south. The wind's got a hold on me. Gonna go where the orange blossoms drift on the breeze. Wanna fly like a bird in the sea. Gave my heart to the wrong man. He's giving it back in pieces. Gotta get what I can and get out of this hole. Wanna run like a deer through the trees. Got a friend in Miami with an extra bed. Get a job waiting table somewhere. Say goodbye to this town, it's getting too cold. Wanna drift like a leaf through the air. Stayed in bed all day just watching the tube. Something's got a hold on me. There's a pocket in my jeans full of broken hearts. Wanna swim like a fish in the sea. That was my first attempt at writing a blues song. Thank you.